Is Social Security going to run out by 2033? Today, I'm going to let you know the answer and tell you what you can expect to have happen with this program in the coming years. Let's get started. Social Security is a government program that provides financial assistance to individuals in the United States. It primarily helps people who are retired, disabled, or survivors of deceased workers. The program is funded through payroll taxes collected from workers and their employers, known as FICA, Federal Insurance Contributions Act. These are taxes that both employees and self-employed people pay into Social Security. Self-employed people pay into this federal program through the 15.3% self-employment tax. The main benefit that Social Security provides are retirement benefits, disability benefits, and survivor benefits, which are benefits to the family members of deceased workers. What about Supplemental Security Income, SSI, which is a needs-based program that provides financial assistance to people who are elderly, blind, or disabled and have low incomes and few resources. Social Security is often a crucial part of retirement planning and serves as a safety net for millions of people, hence the name Social Security. But here's the problem with Social Security. It is undeniable that Social Security provides key financial benefits and helps many of the most vulnerable people in the country to stay afloat financially. However, there is one major problem with Social Security. It's extremely expensive. In fact, in 2024, the federal government spent $1.5 trillion, or about 21% of its budget, on Social Security. Approximately 51.5 million retired workers received benefits from Social Security during this time, in addition to 2.6 million children and spouses of retired workers, 5.8 million spouses of deceased workers, 8.4 million disabled workers, and their eligible dependents. So yes, Social Security is a massive portion of federal spending, and America is already approximately $37 trillion in debt and growing rapidly. So obviously, having to pay trillions of dollars to fund programs like Social Security is a massive burden on the United States. So why is Social Security so unsustainable? At this point, you might be wondering, Karlton, what's the big deal? I mean, our country has been in debt for years, and Social Security seems to have run adequately since its inception. The biggest reason why there are sustainable concerns with Social Security is that lifespans have continued to increase for many years. People are living longer. This means that more and more people end up collecting Social Security benefits, but the number of people who pay into it has not kept up. Also, keep in mind that the baby boomer generation, which was one of the largest generations in American history, is currently in their peak retirement years. This is a big issue. The Social Security program started in 1935, and guess what? When the program started, the retirement age was 65 years old. This means that people could retire and start receiving benefits at the age of 65. And in 1935, the average lifespan for men in America was only 59.9 years, and the average lifespan for women was 63.9 years. So this meant that the average American didn't even survive long enough to retire and receive Social Security benefits when Social Security first came out. Do you see the issue now? Let's compare it to today. In 2025, the average lifespan for both male and women in America is 79.4 years, and the full retirement age is currently 67 years, and it is possible to get some retirement benefits years before this age. So what this means is that in the last 90 years or so, the average lifespan has increased by about 17 years, but the full retirement age has only increased by roughly 2 years. Obviously, this is not a good situation. You can only put so much pressure on a system before it collapses, and lifespans tend to mostly increase over time due to consistent advances in medicine and technology. Now, why is 2033 a significant year for Social Security? You heard me mention that at the beginning of this video. Social Security is funded in part by a trust fund that is built up during times when more revenue comes in from payroll taxes than is paid out in benefits. The fund has been gradually drawn down to help cover shortfalls. Once the trust fund is depleted, which is expected to happen sometime between 2033 and 2035, Social Security will rely entirely on the payroll taxes being collected at that time. However, these taxes alone are expected to only cover about 75% of the benefits promised. If changes are not made, this would mean that tens of millions of Americans who expect to receive Social Security benefits in the early 2030s might not have access to them. This could create a catastrophe in which the disabled and the elderly are not able to afford their bills and could end up on the streets. So you might be asking, okay, Karlton, what can be done to prevent this catastrophe? I'm here with you guys. Of course, it would make sense to avoid this problem at all costs. There are several things that could be done to avoid this problem, and I'm not going to act like I'm the genius here, but I'm going to explain some of the things that we could do. The most obvious one is to raise the retirement age. If we raise the retirement age, it would allow more money to contribute to Social Security every year while allowing fewer people to access the benefits. I know, it's a double-edged sword there. But as you might have guessed, raising the retirement age is not necessarily popular on a political level. And it's, politicians who would have to make this change. So think about that. Politicians who discuss raising the retirement age often face massive backlash from voters because most Americans do not want to have to work later into their 60s or possibly even their 70s before they can be eligible for full retirement benefits. This is likely one of the main reasons why President Trump promised not to raise the retirement age by a single day while campaigning for president. He also promised to eliminate taxes on certain Social Security benefits. Because raising the retirement age is so unpopular politically, another route that politicians might try to take is to raise payroll taxes. Raising taxes can also be difficult from a political standpoint because many people do not want to have their taxes raised. You let me know in the comments if you want your payroll taxes raised. In my opinion, even if the retirement age is not raised during the Trump administration, it's very likely that it will continue to be raised by 2033. If lifespans are just going to keep expanding, it seems inevitable that we're going to have people work more years before reaching retirement age. I mean, the retirement age has barely increased in almost 100 years. Think about that for a moment. Now, another thing to consider here is President Trump appears to be on a mission to dramatically increase the amount of tax revenue that the United States government gets through tariffs. If he can successfully increase funding for the federal government through tariffs, then maybe, just maybe, Social Security could become more sustainable. A lot of people do not like tariffs because they increase the price of imported goods in America. We bear the cost of tariffs. But I'm guessing a lot of people would also not like paying into retirement for 40 years, only to retire and discover that they won't get any retirement benefits because the Social Security Administration is broke. So let's discuss how to protect yourself. My goal for my YouTube channel is to make sure that my subscribers always have the right information in order to optimize their financial futures. That is the purpose of my YouTube channel. But let me be clear here. You should not only rely on the government to take care of you when you retire or if you become disabled. That is not the purpose of this channel, to teach you how to rely on the government. You will be in a much stronger position if you can increase your net worth and cash flow beyond what you may or may not be able to expect from Social Security. That is what I teach on this channel. At my company, one of the main things that we do is to help people invest in tax-advantaged assets that grow their net worth while generating cash flow and provide tax benefits. But one of the absolute best investments that serves these purposes will always be rental real estate investing. I will always go back to real estate. If you're not already invested in real estate, I highly recommend that you start taking a look at real estate investing. Let's quickly discuss some of the benefits of real estate investing really quick. Right out the gate, properties tend to increase in value in America. We see this happening 24/7. For example, the average home price in America in 1970 was just $26,600. Now in 2025, it's over $500,000. Do the math. Real estate investors get to enjoy all of that price appreciation. Additionally, real estate investments generate cash flow in the form of rental payments. Real estate investors are also able to deduct a wider range of expenses, repairs, maintenance, and yes, depreciation. Furthermore, if you use certain strategies such as the short-term rental strategy, right here, there's that video, or the real estate professional status, right here, there's that video, you could potentially offset your W-2 or your 1099 income with your rental losses, which is the holy grail of tax saving in my world. The bottom line is we don't know exactly what is going to happen to Social Security. This is why I put out YouTube videos to keep you informed. So it is best to not depend on Social Security. Investing in real estate is a great way to diversify your passive income streams, but there are other ways too. Now, as we wrap things up, I want to remind you guys, please don't forget to grab a spot to the upcoming Tax-Free Wealth Challenge. It's going to be taking place August 4th through August 8th. This event is geared towards business owners making at least $500,000 annually. I'll be showing you how to use advanced tax saving strategies to reduce your tax burden by 50 to 100%. This sounds like something that you're interested in. I'd love it if you can click the link below to grab yourself a ticket before we run out of tickets. I promise we will sell out of tickets for this event. Okay, guys, that's all I got for today. As always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. You know what to do. Go ahead and let me know what you thought of this video. Look forward to seeing you on the next one. Cheers.